Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
They will probably be late to their own funeral.
Oh, no.
Welcome to the New Spirit radio show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, yes, I hope everybody agrees it's August 24th of 2022. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor. Playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for any new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. We think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. And this allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Raheim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Raheim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Woo-hoo. Hi, Tom. How's it going?
Well, wait, no, sorry, I keep reaching for the wrong direction here.
All right, yes.
There we go.
High five. Awesome.
For those of you that are new, one, we weren't on last week, so you wouldn't have seen us. But we're on this week. A quick outline. We love to share, how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? You're welcome. While we're having fun sharing ours, leave comments in the post. Post in the comment. There you go. And for our rest of our outline, so we're going to continue on with announcements, some special prayers. We'll have a moment of silence. Then we'll talk about trance segments, as well as share them with you. That would be nice. We do a meditation, offer meditation. We talk about closing notes and watch for the Novena. It's a special prayer service for everyone to participate in. I'll talk about some appreciation, and then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. So first item, well, somewhere in the agenda here, because we do have agendas.
Yes.
We will light our candle here. Yes, I know it looks like a blowtorch, but hey, we get a candle.
It's effective.
Yeah. So our fun beginning segment, I'd love to hear from people in the comments of what their favorite. Oh man, I lost my. All right, I'll have to find it later here. Sorry, buttons have been rearranged on my screen, and I'm like,
oh, I see.
when are you going to tell me these things? And now I have to learn this in 30 seconds. Where'd all the buttons go? Anyway, that's another story. So, Novus philosophy. Well, how did you use Novus philosophy? Can you still see me? Because
I can.
Great, good, okay. So, do you want to select who goes first, or do you want to play rock, scissors, paper?
Let's do rock, scissors, paper. We haven't done it in a couple sessions. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
We'll see if we can coordinate this here. So,
okay.
Rock, scissors, paper.
Oh.
You win. Okay.
I have scissors and he grabbed paper. Okay. So I would be very interested to see what you had used.
Let's see. So I am going to, let's see. Novus philosophy. What did I use? One of the items, I hadn't quite noted this one down, so I'm going to see how I can explain this one. But um, what's I've been thinking, how do I do my job better?
Mm,
Working with people. How do I do my job better? And what came to mind, interestingly, even though I still do various activities, what's the word, exercises, things like that to um, um, encourage, well, not encourage, but practice at getting better at working with people. There's certain ways things, what's the word? Use of hands, use of language, use of expressions, and um, um, not, you know, ways of articulating yourself to be more presentable and how do you say, more easily acceptable and trusted by people. And one of the things that came to mind from years ago, and I keep thinking every time I think about this that I've like overcome it, but I keep finding or learning that, oh, when this comes to mind, no, that there's more to it. And I asked years ago, from Francine, why did I have such a challenge with speaking? Setting up my talks for Sunday service, and she said simply, from an insult from your mother. And I, I still don't understand why I don't elaborate with questions. I just take that information and okay. So at that time, I did not get an elaboration on it. It was an insult from my mom. So, however, so what does that? How do I deal with that? How do I work with that? Well, it's like, all right, I have to do some discovery for myself,
interesting.
and because I don't get it, it's to my thinking and my understanding. I think it might be several things that have been done, and we know Francine has talked about behavioral overlays get put in place several times, or past life resonances get triggered from events in this lifetime, in so it's a form of discovery. I have to discover it. What do I feel my weaknesses are, and how? Great. Okay, in my weakness, there's my strength sleeping. What do I need to do to wake it up? So those have been presenting a lot of challenges over time, and recently, I've sort of amazed myself in how I present myself to people for the first time, and the information that I provide and sharing, and how do you say, connecting with them. And on many occasions, I'm giving them information that comes to my mind that um, um, how do you say, hits the nail on the head for them. In other words, I think someone's, explaining to me or giving me the idea, or my psychic sense is saying, "Hey, these people need to know about this information. Let's talk about it." So that's what it seems like for me. So how does this? What is Nova's philosophy? Well, yeah, it's back to discovery. The in your weakness there lies your strength sleeping, and taking information that we get. If you get this idea, uh, I was able to ask Francine. So yeah, if you can ask Chris a question like that, to better enhance yourself, and keep moving forward with it.
That is, oh man, that's such tremendously hard and gratifying work at the same time. To find your voice and like extract the barb that was like given to you like
Creates
at a
the
young age.
oppression,
Yeah,
the emotional oppression of, yeah.
yeah, because it's impossible to grow without those barbs. It reminds me of like first, I just want to say you are an incredibly likable person. Just I
Thank you.
love listening to you. I do. I love listening to you and your talks at the um I just remember this one time you were facilitating you were giving the talk at church, and I saw like this sheen of gold light just kind of radiating off of your head. And
Oh, fun.
like yeah. And I know that I told you about this, but now I'm reminding you, because so I know that like I know that you do get infusion. So if you're feeling like, oh, it feels like I hit the nail on the head, I know, because I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I saw it. And we all do get infusion, but the more that we're able to quiet down as people, and just be open to our own love for God. It doesn't have to be any more simple than that. Like, infusion does come easier if we're just able to just focus on that love for God. So I'm saying that to everybody, just as
Yeah.
validation. It applies for all of us. And it reminds me of one more thing. Kind of around that same time period, I had this very interesting experience where I had a dream about an archangel named Uriel, and I was just trying to do a lot of meditations, trying to get more information about that. And we hadn't listened to anything about archangels on the show yet either, so we just didn't have a whole lot to go on. So I was doing a lot of meditations, but I had this suddenly had this very intense experience while I was stuck in traffic in the car, and like my whole vision just got this beautiful orange light, and it's like I felt it on the back of my mind, just like this brilliant light. And I was like, are you like, is this Uriel? And the message that I felt through that infusion process was, I'm here to protect your God center. And what I took away from that, like this understanding that I got from that, was is that your will and God's will are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no reason to stress out about like, oh God, if I say like, God, I'll do whatever you want, does that mean I'm going to get like careened off into a different path that I don't want to be on? And the answer to that, I just realized, was like, no, that's not what that means, because God isn't going to put you in a place where if your will and God's will are the same, because you're a part of God, then you're not going to go someplace where your will doesn't want to be. And just gave me this incredible peace. And so, it's just an anecdote that came to mind based on what you were sharing.
Oh, so fun! I appreciate the. So that means everybody listening is going to get a bonus, because I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, oh, that was your Novus philosophy, but no, it's not. It's just fun added anecdote for everybody's benefit.
Yeah, it came to mind. So my Novus philosophy that I used this week is it's been on my mind for a long time that Sylvia has said that therapists will start using past life regression in therapy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, So past life regression, like hypnosis in therapy. And so it's been on my mind for a long time, but so I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I'm also trained in hypnosis. So it's within my scope of practice and competence to be able to do hypnosis in treatment. Mm-hmm. And I had a case came up where it was clinically appropriate to try out a past life regression in treatment. It was clinically appropriate. Yeah, so it was a fascinating experience, and so there's more to unpack there, but it was just really cool. It was just really cool. I'm very conscientious about what I use with hypnosis and whatnot, because you really do have to be very have a very clear training and clear skill level to be able to do it. But it was just really neat. It was
fun!
Really neat.
Fun. No, did not to disclose who and when and how or what, but did they feel they benefited from that?
Yes. So we're trying to explore explore disarming fear of death.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That will be. How do you say? What's the big expression? This is life changing. Well, no, that's like soul changing,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Really going to change their perspective, I think.
Yeah. So that is as- it's just an honor to be able to offer healing wherever the path leads. So that's
Yeah,
my
that's
take on it. So that's what I ended up using. It was it's
fun.
like yeah.
That's yeah. That is so exciting I've had the experience of helping people in that same uh, well, specifically at past life regressions, and it's fun to how do you say, see where they go, see what kind of what fits for them. It doesn't always go exactly as we've got, we've been trained, oh, we do these kind of steps and so on, but it's like it's assisting them, and they lead us where they need to go, as
Exactly.
far as revealing information. And what's also fascinating is when they recognize the what's going on, and the revelation that happens for them. Whether sometimes it happens later, but it's fun to know that they get the mind, the soul, and so on gets that revelation of, oh my god.
Yeah. When I went through past life regression, as I oh man, I had a I cried for like 3 days straight after that. I could not stop myself crying. It
Wow,
was such like an
wow,
intensely emotional
release.
experience. It
Yeah.
was. It was definitely release. It was definitely release. It was a it was a bad memory. But
Well, think of how much
it was
was.
good to get out
Yeah,
and
exactly.
knowledge.
Think of how
Yeah.
much was packed in there, um, you know,
Yeah. The
festering, as it were.
exactly. And the incident, because the incident involved, for me, involved me passing away in an incident where I wasn't able to unpack all of the grief that was going on at that time. And
Wow. Okay.
so it's my understanding that in my current life, I had pulled in a lot of that grief that manifested in some really unhelpful ways.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it was just really fascinating because it was on topics that I didn't care about in my current life,
Mm-hmm.
it, but but holy moly, it was a very very intense experience. I was going through a lot of grief when I passed away. It's interesting. So it can be very healing going through hypnosis. So all right, so we've got some people who shared what did they use of Novus philosophy. So I'd love to read your comments. Um, So Gibson shares. So I have to share because you may have an answer. I woke up. I think she means that she was dreaming. I think so. I woke up to a goat running around on my bed playing with my cat. I, is that a dream or was it an actual goat? Just, do you live with goats? Because that's adorable. If you do, I'm just curious.
Because
Um, yeah. So I was between being awake and asleep. Okay. So later that morning, I passed by a bus stop, and on the side of the glass, bottom to the top, was a picture of a goat. But huge picture of a goat, sounds like. All right. Um, so that night, watching my favorite product on QVC, what do I see? Goats. I looked up the characteristics of goats and matched me. Then I saw it said 2022 is the year of the goat. What do you think? Someone trying to say hello like a goat, or something else?
um,
Hilarious.
well, if you have a friend of a
Goat.
goat from the other side, I would say they're trying to say hello. But other than that, yes, I agree with you. That's someone trying to say hello, or
Yeah, someone trying to say
hello.
hello.
Um, is there something you've been pondering, or trying to get an answer to, and it could be the fact, for me that's been this kind of experience. um, could you be looking for something and it's right in front of your nose and you're not recognizing it, and someone's trying to make it obvious that, hey, that's something, yes. Or have you been thinking about somebody in particular, maybe somebody that's passed over? Because yes, I believe the goat would be something related to them, unless the fact that they're just identifying they remember you like goats, and making sure you see goats everywhere.
Hmm. Hmm. Also, just pay attention to other things that could be goat related, like Sagittarius, or I just pay attention because maybe something in the future might queue up that now you're primed to like pay attention to. So just
Yeah.
uh, keep an open mind and see what happens. Interesting. That's hilarious.
So yeah,
All right.
when something comes to mind, and then the goat idea comes up, gets reminds you, that could be like the clue for you.
Hmm. Yes. Okay, next comment. George says, I thought about how God is truly an equal opportunity employer. Whether you are on level 1 or 99, God lets you be the best that you can be and go as high as you want. The sky's the limit. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Absolutely true. Melissa says, I am learning to love myself more, and it has had a healing effect in many ways. I also learned to talk openly without fear to those that I kept at a distance. Oh, that's hard work. Good for you. Good for you. Um, let's see here. Gibson says, Is anyone keeping track of things that have been validated from what Raheim and Francine have told us? There was something on the news about monkeypox and the reemergence of smallpox mutation. Oh, that is true. I do remember them saying that the that I do
Small
remember them saying that smallpox would return. So I wonder if if monkeypox is part of that. It's
Well,
interesting.
smallpox, I think, is also having if I recall, currently smallpox may be having a recurrence as well.
Oh God, I hope not.
That's anyway. We'd have to.
Oh, I hope
There's
not.
so much
Yeah.
news going on that, but look it up for yourself, and see what kind of things are being reported, and look up when uh, either Sylvia or Francine have spoken about these things.
Hmm. Gibson says, I used to ask for a change and got it, but I don't want a goat.
Yes.
Um,
So
maybe.
I would say follow the goat, as it were. You may in I don't from my experience, it's not about you're getting a goat. It's about the goat is a symbol to follow. So if something is presented to you, and it has some relationship to either, as she said, Kat said, which one's you said Sagittarius is the goat? No.
Yes.
Yes. No. Okay.
Yes.
Or the year of the goat. Something
Something about
related.
seizing the year. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep an ear out, and if something is presented to you and there's some relationship to a goat or goats, um, it could be the spelling too, but the goat is supposed to get your
True.
attention.
True. Yeah. Just keep an open mind and let us know if anything interesting happens further. Let's see here. Looking through more. Um,
You know what? While you're reading, I wanted to share another fun one, because it kind of relates to the goat, and it's like, pay attention. It's yes, our guides, our loved ones on the other side, they put things in front of us, or we ask them to put things in front of us to get our attention, and make us, like, how do you say, pay attention. One of brings emotions up when I think about it. One of my fun events was, with the sign was our family was driving back from Montana. We come out, Highway 80 comes out of Tahoe down into Sacramento. I'm on the west side of Sacramento, and I'm like, okay, I have a choice. I can either go south and then west to home, or I can go west and south to home. Two different freeway systems, and I was like, okay, I'm going to exercise my first thing that comes to mind. So I said, which way should I go? Well, I got this notion I should go west then south. And of course, the doubt, first thing comes to mind, the doubt comes in. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait, shh, quiet. The doubt was saying, no, I don't know if I can get diesel fuel going that way because I was driving a diesel truck. And other things. And I got, whoa, wait a minute, let's go. We said we'd go with the first thing that came to mind. So I did. I went west, and sure enough, I needed to refuel. And yes, I found a gas station that happened to have diesel. Well, I also had been watching the mileage on the odometer. Mine's a manual or trip odometer. It's not digital, and I've been watching the numbers. And when I happen to, my attention is drawn to what is it? Nines, threes, sixes, those kind of numbers. It's like, oh, I need to pay attention. Well, of course, I had pulled into this gas station. Um, I had to move the truck around. I had to back up and do 3-point turns to get this truck. It was a 4-door Ford pickup with the long bed, so it's a long truck.
Oh,
And so I had to do all this backup
dear.
fun maneuvering, which enjoy because I'm good at it. But I had to back up and turn around to get myself positioned in the right spot, so to be able to get diesel fuel into the truck. And when I stopped and parked, oh, okay, great. Here's the gas things right there next to me. I can get out, and I look at the odometer, and I had Trinity numbers across the odometer. And
Oh,
I go,
wow.
wow, what are the odds of that?
What are the odds indeed?
Number one.
Okay.
And so I'm, fidgety fudging in, and I'm ready to get out, and I open the door and I look down. Now this truck sits way up, so I have to step up and get in. But I'm looking out the door. Right below where my foot would go is a penny on the ground.
Oh.
Right where I, just happened to park the truck,
Oh,
and
interesting.
I open the door, and the penny's sitting there. And I go, okay, someone's like, that was my impression is, okay, this is another pay attention, and so I get out, and of course I'm stepping on the penny. I have to step on because that's where I get out, and it's right there, and I go, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to pay attention. What's the message? Well, I didn't hear anything, so I got out, did my thing and I grabbed the penny and did my thing, put fuel in, and got back in the truck, and I said, "What's the message?" and what came to mind was, okay, what did you do when I got out of the truck? What did I do? And related to that penny. And oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to preface. I keep forgetting to preface this. When I was coming back, I was feeling guilty about going on vacation, going to this vacation. Should I have done this? Should I have? And so, guess what's in my mind? It's like doubt of where I am, where I should be. And well, the fun part is when so yes, I had the penny. I'm sitting in the truck going, okay, what's the message? What's the message? And what came to mind was, what did you do? I stepped out on what? I stepped out on a penny. Well, what's that fun phrase? You're right on the money.
Oh, hey. Oh, that's interesting.
So that
Interesting.
I also
Right on the
happen to
money.
exactly. I also happen to pull in and grab coffee after like doing this long marathon of showing homes, and I'm like, oh, I haven't had lunch, I haven't rested, I haven't done, and I'm like, oh my god. Well, I grabbed a big cup of coffee, and came back to the car, and guess what? There was a penny standing there right at my door. I didn't even notice it when I had pulled in and got out, well, because I didn't face that way. But anyway, so yeah. And for this instance, I actually stepped on the penny and blessed it. I said, give some energy for the next person that finds it.
That's sweet. That's sweet. That is really, really cool. Right on the money. Yeah, sometimes the little messages that we get do come in like in phrases that are
Right.
easy to just roll off of, just like that, right on the money. Interesting.
So,
Thank you so
yes,
much for
right on
sharing.
the money. Yes, I was supposed to be on vacation. I was supposed to do all that stuff. So it's like, forget about all that, doubt, worry, concern, and so on.
Gibson says, I don't think like you do, Tom. It will be years before I figure it out. Oh,
No, no,
I
no, no. You
no.
keep
You'll figure
pestering
it out.
your guide. Keep
Yes.
saying,
Keep bugging your
in your
guy.
mind. So I've given my guides permission to read my mind. I've given a lot of other people permission to read my mind. So, um, that's me personally. Um, for others, but see, that's what helps them help you. Um,
Yes.
um, and so, that's an exercise. I was exercising at the time of, going with first thing that comes to mind.
Cool. Cool. Well, I'm looking at the time and we've had such a wonderful talk, but maybe we should move on to special prayers.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see. Okay, fun. For everyone that is here that's listening, regardless of when, where, and how, visualize together. Well, if you've got a concern for yourself, or you know of someone that could use some help. I surely do. That could use some help, and family members. So let's put that energy out, visualize what the greatest outcome is for these people, and we're going to take a moment of silence, and we're all going to put our energy out. Ask Mother God, the guides, and whoever else on the other side, get their butts in gear and help us out. Help resolve these issues for these people. So let's take a moment of silence and. Amen.
Amen.
Cool. If you've got other prayers, you'd like to submit a petition, you can go to the website and submit a special petition on the prayer chain. And of course, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. And thank you for watching, because I would have waited for another storyline or something. We'd be going for like another.
It's all
um,
right.
yeah.
It's
Let's
wonderful
see.
to have the chats.
We are okay. So I think we're doing good with that. What's up next? If you are listening to our stream or a recording of these videos and you have challenges with um, streaming service, well, there's always the conference call. If you'd like to listen to this while we are live, you can call into our conference call line and listen in. That number is 888-534-2696, and I believe there is several people listening in, taking advantage of that. So we do
Hello.
ask you to stay muted so that everybody enjoys that a good listening session. And now we like to go to trance segments.
Okay. So today we have, of course, my browser closed, which was really exciting.
Sounds like me.
Thanks. Thanks, little buddy. So we're going to be listening to Raheim finish up Trance, talking about health recommendations. As always, we like to remind people we are not doctors. Please consult your medical professional who is licensed and can clarify any questions that you have about specific health things. But consider these to be, the other side's research into things that can help support different health conditions. So,
Suggestions.
yes. So he's going to talk more about lecithin, multivitamins, and thoughts on Centrum, the brand. Royal jelly, which is queen bee spit, got some really interesting properties to it. The exact milligrams, he's going to give some recommendations. Take all vitamins and minerals with food. Lecithin and Retin-A for acne. Vitamin E for hot flashes. And dementia and sage for prevention.
And of course, most all of this information you can reference in our Journey in the Soul Topic 3.
Yes.
Oh, that's my cue. All right.
All right. Here we go.
Now, do I have everything else set up? Yeah, we do. Here we go. Take notes.
Yes.
Francine mentioned once 24 milligrams or units, I don't know how it really comes, of lecithin.
24 milligrams.
So is that enough?
Of course it's enough. 2,400 milligrams is enough for
So
any...
you're just talking about in capsule form, not to use it for cooking or anything
No.
kind of thing. Okay.
You wouldn't want to use it in... Oh, it would...
Okay.
Yes.
One thing I was thinking about a long time, can you, when you've been given the formula what to take, supplements, you never get to know all the milligrams, actually. Can you do a rundown what you should take?
I would take a multivitamin. Sylvia always likes the commercial brand of Centrum. We're not aware of that, although we have someone testing it, and they say so far it's very good. It has selenium and everything in it. She always believes in taking folic acid. She also, and I go along with her because she's nutritionally superb. Potassium, niacin, C, 2,000 milligrams of time release, and lecithin, and sometimes royal jelly, and E.
Yeah, but I'm asking for the milligrams. See,
2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 500 milligrams of E. I would take one CoQ10. I would take just one folic acid. See, so many of these is just one. I mean, you just take one, doesn't matter. You can't OD on it anyway. One capsule of royal jelly, 2 big capsules of lecithin, which are 1,200 milligrams, which make 24. One Centrum, one potassium, which comes 99.9 usually most of the time. And there you are.
what about iron?
Well, that's in Centrum.
What about what?
Iron.
It's in Centrum. It's in ferrous sulfate. No, that's Centrum.
Beta carotene. I take the Centrum and then I take the beta carotene 24. Am I getting too much?
No.
If you're anemic, how much extra iron?
I would take 2 Centrums a day.
Because I've tried, minerals do not sit
No.
on my stomach at all.
And they don't with Sylvia either. She has to take it on a full stomach, baby. And besides, you should never take any mineral, for that matter. In fact, any vitamin on an empty stomach is not feasible for anyone. It's not good. It doesn't absorb well. It'll sit on the stomach, especially bees. I'm not real thrilled, as you notice, about the bees. I'm really not. The bees increase appetite. It creates a lot of other things. B12 is fine. I like that. But I think that's for when you get more mature. You need that to help your blood. Yes.
Said in the news that anybody childbearing age shouldn't take more than 10,000 units of vitamin A that's causing birth defects.
Oh, yeah. It's always been known to be there, but I don't think anybody's taken a lot of A, at least not anyone we know that we're worried about. Yes.
How much niacin would you have?
I think 500 milligrams is plenty. Sylvia takes, what, 1,000? Yes, with the uracil, she was taking 1,000.
Yeah, those are 2 5 time released though.
You recommend the time release?
Yes, I like the time release in all vitamins if people get them in that. Yes.
Do you still want to stay in the garlic tablet?
Garlic, yes, you can take the primrose, the garlic, and all of that, yes. Especially if you're having problems, like Kim says, of joints and pains, and take all the oils, the primrose oils, the lecithin. You can't, the garlic oil, especially the super garlic. You can't hurt yourself.
In the tablets.
That's what it's called, super garlic.
Yeah.
It's a brand name.
Oh.
Dry skin. Could primrose help with that, or the lecithin?
Primrose and lecithin helps much better.
Lecithin's better.
Yes. Yes.
And what do you do for children or adolescents with acne?
Children with acne and adolescents, lecithin works very well on them. It really does.
How
1,200 is fine for children.
does that control it?
It controls
reduce
it, yes. I've always been very impressed with Retin-A because it's made out of A. Retin-A also helps in the control.
Application, skin, topical.
I think there's a lot of side effects to Retin-A.
Well, there isn't any we know of.
Retin-A?
Yes.
What about
No, there's none. She's thinking of acetone. She's got it all messed up. Yes.
hot flashes?
Yeah. Yes.
Good for hot flashes.
Good for hot flashes is E.
How much?
500 milligrams.
All you can
That in both of them, or?
It really puts the quietus on it, as we say. Sylvia takes them. Sylvia has horrible night sweats, and she started back on her E again, and because she doesn't want to take the Premarin.
Maybe she's on estrogen and is that?
Sylvia's not on estrogen, no.
I mean,
So
it's okay to go through that, but to go through any other kind of
she has.
medication?
She doesn't like it. She tried it. I'll tell you that for 6 months, and she had every kind of side effect from it. She can't take pills. She absolutely can't. Any pill that you can take that would be normal for you, she cannot take.
ruins it.
Yes.
Apple cider vinegar?
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar is very good if you're wanting to reduce. Otherwise, if you don't, keep off of it. You don't need to reduce. Yes.
How do we deal with senior dementia as far as talking to people, or is there anything to treat them with it? Just
No.
leave it.
No. They're now doing a breakthrough of what we thought for years and said for years, that sage is a marvelous deterrent. But you're talking about your father? It's too far.
How do we get it?
Just let him live till he goes. Yes.
What can work with gout?
Work with gout. Stop dairy products. Stop drinking. Yes.
Is being in ketosis and such a wonderful thing?
Well, it is a wonderful thing. It's not wonderful for people around you.
Yeah, to stink. But I mean, do you have to do that in order to actually lose weight?
If you're not in ketosis, you're not burning fat.
But then the apple cider vinegar could be enough to keep you out of that if you're really sensitive to sugars and stuff.
Mm-mm. No, it doesn't.
No?
I can't think a tablespoon would do
No,
anything to
it doesn't. Well, I don't know where your chemistry is. I don't know what you're talking about with that. Doesn't.
Well, I mean, this was like many moons back when I was playing with that, and it just so happened that when I took it, I couldn't stay in the state of ketosis.
Well, not that you knew of.
Not that I knew of. Okay.
Yes.
What is the maximum daily for vitamin D?
500 is perfect for everyone. Okay, well, yes.
For radiation, we were told to take cream of tartar, a quarter of a teaspoon, and what else?
Baking soda, yes.
And vinegar.
But be careful of that because it's a very definitely cathartic.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Raheim.
Aina will see you next time, and then I will see you the next time.
Oh, thank you.
There it is.
All right.
The recipe. The quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar and the baking soda.
Hmm.
Your favorite.
Yes, once a month. I just try to keep it on the on the first week of the month. Um, yeah, uh, I'll try to remind people again. I got out of the habit, but I'll try to remind people again about that. And it's for cleansing our system of any radiation exposure that we might have come in contact with, such as on our foods or in our water, and they're just or other places and out in the world. And so Raheim was very adamant that people should have a glass of water with that combination once a month. So I think it is a ghastly tasting concoction.
Yes.
Pure villainy, but I do it. I got out of the habit the last couple months, so I'll get back into it.
Let's see. I didn't have any two bits or 4 bits for that one. That was just some fun refresh and recap of information.
Yeah, it's interesting. So one thing that I didn't quite register enough that I should have put on the notes for this, he was talking about ketosis, which is basically what people are trying to get after with the keto diet. So I want, and Francine has also said that ketosis is good. So both Raheim and Francine are in agreement that ketosis is a good thing. So keto diet, I guess, gets their stamp of approval. However, I want to remind people that if you or someone you know is trying to do the keto diet, please be mindful about avoiding animal fats, because animal fats are very, very hard on the body. So there's tons of other oils and things that you can get. And as far as my understanding of that diet is concerned, but it's just a point of information to keep in mind.
But yeah, again, also when you say fats, guess what? That's just contributing to what you're trying to burn off. So anyway.
Yeah, it's a really specific chemistry that ketosis goes like is trying to get get your
Burn
body
off.
to
get eliminate.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it just because I tried it for 3 days and I know that you're supposed to keep at it, but it was so hard on my body that I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, this is not going to work for me. So just respected my body and didn't go there. So anyway, it's interesting.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What? Any fun comments, or do we want to head for the next one?
Alyssa said earlier about our goat discussion, I think, could those be a sign from your animal totem? Yes. I think so. It could be interesting.
Cool.
I have a panther totem, and I'll see black cats just kind of pop up in certain places where, so I know to kind of be a little bit on alert if I see a black cat in a positive way.
That's better than seeing a panther, huh?
Yeah, I'll take the cat. Take the cat. So
cool. All right. What's next?
Moving along. So we are starting a new segment. Excuse me, not a new segment, a new trance with Francine.
Mm-hmm.
Date is November 5th, 1995. She's going to start talking about life on the other side, so what the weather is like. There's complete democracy with voting. Pettiness influences voting on our side. Endless time decreases the amount of stress that people experience. And the difference between punctuality and feeling rushed.
Gotcha.
All right, cool.
By the way, the grass is greener on the other side.
That's good. That's good. It's true. It's true.
I forgot who brought that up. That was a fun.
It's funny.
Anyway, okay, here we go.
All right.
Good to see you, Francine. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, these are challenging recordings, so you may want to use headphones, but we're doing the best.
I know we've gone into this in a little minute way, but I think you should know how your life goes on my side during a excerpt of time. As you well know, you do not have day and night. You have continuous day. If you wanted night, which might seem very strange to you, you could have it dark for yourself. But our temperature stays at about 78 to 79 degrees all the time. We do have some quadrants, though, that like seasonal changes. And so if you were really presupposed to wanting a snowfall or a thunderstorm, if that quadrant had voted on that weather change at that time, you could readily go to that quadrant to get it. We live in a total democracy, and there is no way in this world you are ever going to know in your finite mind what a total democracy is in your world.
Amen.
It is a total, complete, and voting system of who wants what for that time. It's amazing because with all the differentiations of personalities or differences, there usually is always a single-mindedness. And whenever you find that there is something that is of fun or harmony or pleasurable, loving, and with great morality, then people are of a single mind. Only on your side where there is an infinite number of stresses, infinite number of areas in which the pettiness of the mind and the sociological norms come into play, it keeps you from being singular-minded. Now, never do I ever want you to think that in this there is any communistic flair to this, because in the communal living from which the derivative of communism is taken, it is never so that everyone is followed or follows one singular view. If everyone is in accord, such as, let's say, everyone is thrilled about a picnic, everyone is thrilled about a party, it's the same as we have on my side, is that you're thrilled about a certain focal point. And it seems to be that the motive of the day is to learn and to have fun. It is never, ever that I ever remember anyone ever feeling that it was in any way stressful or gut-wrenching. Because, you see, with endless time decreases the amount of stress, which let me diverge a little bit. Try in this stress-filled world to do things more slowly. We find that you do everything now in such a frenetic pace. If you watch people primarily that we've observed, not necessarily on your highways, but in your stores where you buy food, it is so frantic. We also watch people in your places where you buy things are so frantic. And we have wondered if you have gotten the logical thought of what you are rushing toward.
What is so paramount that you have to get done with such immediacy? Watch people in stores rush up and down aisles, only to rush outside, to load it into the car, to load it into the house, to put it away, and then go sit down. We find that to be very comical. You will say to me, because I want to get it done, do it more slowly. You will still have enough time, and you won't be nearly as exhausted when you do finally sit down. Take your time with more things. It's the same thing as Sylvia used to say. She would see people rushing by her when she was driving, and everyone met at the red light.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar to your life. If you don't get it done, what horrible thing will befall you? Someone will be disappointed. Now, in punctuality, that's a different thing. Punctuality is a very, very definite assessment. In promising that you will be done with something or do something at a certain time is very close to any honorable action. It is a deadline in which you promise someone something in which you will be there. People I find that are perpetually late really anticipate going somewhere rather than the actual being there. So they prolong the anticipation. And of course the other person is left tearing their hair. It also is a tremendous attention getter. Because if you're late, then of course you become the focal of all negative emotion. And sometimes, like children, negative emotion directed towards one is better than no emotion at all. Now, for lack of a word or words to describe for your finite mind, you see, I would have to say when we get up. We don't get up. But let's say because our time runs in a circle, your time runs laterally. So in circular time, it's very difficult, but let's just pull out a cog in a circle and start with that. For the hypothesis of saying to start. For instance, in your time limit today, let's say, this morning I went to a very, very interesting lecture on time and space transposition and how your world is getting to the point in which time and distance is condensing, which really is going to be faster than the speed of light. Speed of light was only measured by what they knew speed and light to be. But when it accelerates, then it becomes even quicker. Look at your television, your telephones, your machines that send paper across. You have really done a transposition. So I found it to be very interesting, even though my forte is not necessarily the cosmology of things. I was taken there by a very good friend of mine who wanted me to listen to this because she's very involved in what we call astrophysics. I later then went to the garden and met some friends and we talked, and many of them wanted to share what they had learned at different lecture sites.
So some fun, like reminding us, some of us, but also introducing some listeners to, what goes on the other side. When you think about, I was reading one of the comments, I think Ron was talking about, he's enjoying seeing near-death experiences. people passing over and coming back. And yes, my significant other's been doing that too, watching some of those shows, which it's fun to hear the different stories. Me personally, it's like, I know, you know, for many people, it's like, oh, wow. And, you know, yeah, they're intrigued. And I appreciate the fact that they're intrigued, that it catches their attention. Uh, um, it's just, you know, I'm not so enthralled just because of, you know, I know. And, but yeah, they are cool. They're fun to hear all the stories, and they talk about, you know, their personal experiences are fun to hear all the diversity of experiences.
Oh, that's so neat. I need to actually listen to or go watch a few of those documentaries. For some reason, I haven't, but I need to fix that. I think it's because when I first had my what I best describe as a near death experience when I was a young person.
Yeah.
I went to the library right after that to try to find anything that could resemble what I went through. Um, I I just had so many books that kind of got close and but weren't weren't at all close enough to just the actual physical description of the other side that Sylvia's book had of life on the other side. That nailed it. That is what got me into Gnosticism. Was that I had seen a full description of like this whole process and what the other side looked like for me, what the temples looked like and the towers and the gardens and personal houses and just the incredible, incredibly indescribable colors.
Yeah. That's the word. That's the word. Yeah. That's how you describe it.
Indescribable colors. Yeah. So, but now I do need to go see what people are saying. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and anyway, we could go on for entertain ourselves with that discussion too for a while.
Mm-hmm. P. Fuller says John J. Davis has several near-death experience interviews on YouTube that back up everything Sylvia has been saying for years. Very cool. He talks about all the temples and life reviews and gardens. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I have to check that out. John J. Davis. Gibson says, yes, they are really interesting, the near-death experiences I think she's mentioning. And Alyssa says, I have a black cat too that looks similar to yours. That's cool. Here he is. So,
meow.
Yeah. God, he's such a good cat. Anyhow. Ron says, that's a good point, Kat. Happened for me too, but hearing others talk about theirs just further validates what I know. Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. I guess I'll point out one thing that I thought was interesting, and I want to listen to it again. What Francine was talking about with the difference between punctuality and rushing versus being late, and that being late has some different components to it, that people are like focusing on the process of leaving rather than arriving. Is that what she said?
Yes. The process of leaving and getting there is more important to them than arriving, and in essence, that's the focus.
So that's really interesting, because that can be applied to a lot of different things in our lives then, because from what we've been told for projecting yourself forward and manifesting, you want to envision yourself as already having gotten there, and that is the important part. And so that kind of suggests that if it's a struggle to arrive to things on time, it's an important thing to start shifting our own mental perspective of saying, like, I envision myself as already there, and that is the joy and the important thing that I need to be focusing on, rather than having any fears about the
Oh,
minutia.
that's if I'm hearing this right, you're saying that if we're constant, whether we're aware of it or not, if we're constantly late getting somewhere, we're tardy a lot. That's also relates to how well we visualize the future. We're going to be tardy getting to our destination. We need to shift that focus to that we see ourselves getting there, getting to our goal,
Embrace it. Yeah.
embracing being there, as a visualization, but also ask for that in a, in our everyday lives, that we, embrace going to that destination, going forward, and reducing the, how do you say, why are you choosing to be tardy? Why didn't you get up early enough? Why didn't you get it prepared? What's the unfocusing that you're doing? I mean, even I struggle with it. What do I got to do to?
Struggle with it too. I struggle with it too. But there was some truth in what she was saying, including, and I'm thinking back to for, like the first times that I was ever late, because I would always be super upset as a child if I was late to something, but my mom would be late to things all the time and wouldn't care. And so then I stopped caring. And then that impacted just like a slew of things like throughout me growing up. And so that's a behavioral overlay though. It's a behavioral overlay that you don't need anymore. So if we have the opportunity to just wipe the slate clean and say, I want to have a healthier, more positive relationship to getting there on time, then not fearing the process of getting there is like the kind of the first step. Because it's like building a tulpa of like, okay, the process of getting here, if we build that up and build that up and build that up and build that up becomes the most important thing, then yeah, it becomes this huge
I'm
entity.
afraid of being late, and
Exactly.
and that can become a habit. I'm afraid of being late, and guess what? That's what your focus is. So that may be your result. If you,
That's the result. Yeah.
we need to, it's change your focus to, oh, okay, what can I do to prepare to be on time, to get there
Yeah.
in time? What are the things that
Embrace getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get there in a comfortable fashion. I appreciate myself enough that I want to be there, and for others. I appreciate being respectful and professional for others, that I want to be in a relaxed state of mind when I get there. What is that going to take? How pre-plan, plan ahead, and as best you can.
Somebody shares, I thought I was just going through a time warp. I leave on time but get there late. Yeah. I think time just flies nowadays, and so I feel like I
literally
have to leave earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ron shares, the military taught me at a young age the importance of being on time. If you have a part in a mission and you are late doing your part, people are dying. That's not cool. Oh man.
Right. That's like the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate.
Being on time.
In sports, what are they practicing as a team? You don't have to think of where you're going to send it, because you're expecting someone to be there in a certain spot at a certain time. It's timing. It's I know when I get the ball, I need to pass that along, and I'm expecting someone to be there. So that's the teamwork of, oh, I got to be somewhere at a certain time.
Yeah. Fascinating discussion. Definitely I'm going to think about this some more, because I think that there's some good self-reflection that I would benefit from by just listening again. So, and that's fine. That's fine. Self-compassion. That's fine. All right. Last segment, maybe?
Yep.
All right. So, Francine continues saying, there is constant activity on the other side, and she's going to give some descriptions of that, which is super interesting. Watch parties about our lives.
Yeah.
No. I'm leaving this behind me, man. All right, an explanation of how guides become tactful about our lives. Interesting.
Oh, very good. When you started thinking about that, and I was laughing, it's like what comes to mind is, um, um, you know, sitcoms. You know,
Yeah.
about people's lives or families or whatever. It's like that's
hmm
that's what we get. Let's see. Did I do? All right. Sorry, I gotta reselect this because I'm like not confident here. Okay, here we go.
I then dismissed myself and went into the library to look up some esoteria, which I'm going to give you next week, that is going to be devoted to a lot of extraterrestrial information. And I had to do some research on that. I then met with some friends again, and some of them have been some of your relatives that had gathered around. And we met in the Rose Arbor, and we began to. Now, what was amazing is some people were working on gardening. Some people in that area were working on dealing with some animals. Some people were planting. And in this milling around of everybody doing what they wanted to do was a wonderful montage of people going about their business. As we were all seated there, the concert started up on the hill. And so in all this, the quiet chatting, the planning, the talking about animals, playing with animals, there was a concert playing in the background. There is constant activity. There is constant ongoing researching. There is constant travel. There is constant movement. You never see anyone leaning against a tree, sleeping. You never see anyone, now there might be meditation circles. There was a circle of people, I guess what you'd call a few days ago, almost like linked circles of people that had linked circles and were meditating with their tones. It was quite beautiful. One person was standing in each of the circles and would hit a note, a bell. And these fascinating Tai Chi dance groups of people mulling over, and then of course there's people that are moving about and going to the scanning machines, which people love to view their lives and other people's lives. And it's almost like a billboard, you might say, that you can see what's playing that day. People can also have, in conjunction with their lectures, pull up with, of course, the sanction of a person's life, that this is how a problem is handled. This is what the person has gone through. And this is very much for the orientation or even the learning. So you see people sitting around in these vast auditoriums taking notes. Some of them are preparing to go into a life that might have a similar circumstance in which they might be handling this. Let's say even as horrible as this may sound, the death of a child, a horrible illness, and how this person's handling it, how possibly they didn't handle it. And no one takes offense at this because they know that they have many, many lifetimes to perfect this. And then some people just like to have private showings of their most funniest episodes. But all of this is a learning process, don't you see? Because even the most, sometimes the most despotic acts can be humorous. Some of the most insane things can form humor, or let's say inventory for knowledge of human behavior and what could be done And great lectures are done on whole scenarios of life. And strangely enough, it can be done even before you pass over. In other words, because you gave consent, now this might make you a little bit nervous, but you gave consent that your life could be shown at any time. So can you imagine that you're in living color somewhere, maybe on some lecture or lectern that is now revolving in 3D living color? Yes.
Turn off the lights, that's all I do. Time, you don't have time.
No, we do not.
We are time bound. Although you do have, let's call it, duration. I mean, you engage in conversation and there's a,
oh, yes,
a
we have
duration of
excerpts.
time.
We have excerpts.
Yeah. We experience duration differently depending on our psychological state. If we're having a great, wonderful time, it's over like that.
Yeah.
If we're just misery bound, it's so damn long.
But you don't understand. It's because that you are time bound that you only have a duration. Without time, there is constant duration. That's why I made the sidebar of saying that because you're rushing, we have no deadline. Well, we do know that we'd like to see this lecture, but if we don't catch it, it will come again. And the one thing that we find with people that come over, the hardest orientation for them is to know that there is time for everything.
You have to rush to get it all in.
You do not. You don't have a dinner hour. You don't have to have people coming home for something. You don't have to be at a certain place. If you want to amble over to the lecture, you can. If you miss it, you can always catch it on the scanner. If not, the lecture will return again.
Okay, so you don't have, let me say, for lack of a better term, you have a sense of a linear time in that, let's say, oh, I missed the lecture. You couldn't, like, just jot back 15 minutes in some sense and pick up the lecture where it started.
Well, you wouldn't have to because everything is rotating in a circle.
Ouch. Okay. We got into this 20 years ago and still hard. Okay. I'm sure that's how it's going to be. But let me ask you, what is your experience? What is of duration? You've recounted you did two things this morning.
We do it at the beginning until it ends.
Okay. How does that coincide with you chirping at Sylvia now and then?
I have to become time-bound, and I had to learn very early that I couldn't do that at 4 in her morning time because she got very aggravated with me.
So is there a part of you that's monitoring Sylvia as you're wandering about your...
Of course I can see when she's sleepy. I can see when she's lying in a prone position and her eyes are closed.
I understand that.
I can also see when she's more open because I've been with her so long, the same as all of your guys can see that.
True.
We try to be characteristically diplomatic and, let's say, tactful about your life.
So I guess the question is, when she needs you, how do you get that recall notice?
Well, I'm always with her.
While you're doing those other things.
And you're off in the garden and at the lecture and...
We always have a visual of our person that we are.
The Dick Tracy thing.
It's very much, let me give you, now I know you're not a mother, but I think every woman will be aware of this. How many times can a mother be talking to someone, but she's always got that inner eye on her child? She always has that sixth sense of her child is there.
So for lack of a better term, you have a psychic link to Sylvia.
It's a psychic link, but it's a sensory link.
Fun. Trying to describe no time to people that are time bound. And yeah, I think if for those that have had near-death experiences, or if you've visited the other side in a meditation or a dream, um, stop and think if you can recall that. What's the environment feel like while you're there? And bring that, see if you can bring that back with you to give you that reminder of timelessness on the other side.
Yeah, I remember for me during my experience as a young person over there, time was just beyond my fingertips. It was like I could kind of understand the idea of it, but just like we can't understand the idea of like timelessness, really. Like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us. It didn't make sense for me when I was over there what time was. So it's like, it just reverses. Like I was over there and I was like, it's not there. It does not exist. I was trying to grasp how long I'd been sitting on this park bench in the gardens, and there was nothing there to give me any sort of I was like, a couple minutes, 2 hours, no idea.
Yeah.
No clue whatsoever. It was beyond my fingertips. But it was a gift from God. That's what it felt like. It's like, this is a gift from God to make sure that this place is as stress-free as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when a soul gets a recognition of that or a reminder of that, I think that can be very relieving. And that goes back to behavioral overlays that, the soul doesn't recall, so the soul gets stressed out over, the hurriedness that we have here that Francine was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I'll just say one last thing, I guess. It felt like the way that we are constantly aware of the passage of time, and we have this constant awareness and attachment to it. It's like, replace that with a constant awareness of God's love and God's awareness of you. It's like those two things were swapped.
Yeah. You don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sometimes why. Well, I'm not sure if it's a why, but it's a common theme for vacation is it takes you 2 days to unwind. If you're going somewhere to relax, it takes like 2 to 3 days to get you to unwind and let go of the habits that we've generated of everyday stuff. I've not lost, but I've been trying to recall the phrase that I heard years ago from an engineer. The company I used to work for years ago, we manufactured like add-on stuff for when Apple Computer was working in Fremont. One of their engineers in there, really fun guy, older gentleman, said something to the effect. Oh, the fun anecdote was somebody had called him up to ask him a question. He was out on vacation. It had probably been more than a week, and they call him on the phone, and he picks up the phone and says, "Who?" He didn't recognize and it's called you've had a good vacation when you can't remember how to work.
Hey, nice. nice.
Or how to do your job. It's some phrase like that.
Interesting.
So the goal is to forget how to do your job.
Okay.
Anyway, I like that fun phrase.
Yeah. Gibson says LOL. Let me look at a couple other comments here. Ramona says, every week these teachings are so relevant, refreshing to the soul. Thank you. You're welcome. Lily says, I used to listen to this podcast at night. So glad I found it over here. Hi, Lily. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you made it. It's excellent. Alyssa says, cute. My cat's name is Salem. That's awesome. Mine is Floofy. And P. Fuller says, definitely his near-death experience happened in mid-'80s, so it was so for it to correlate with Sylvia really makes it all the more true. That's cool.
The thing that comes to my mind, for people that are maybe like super intrigued of wanting their near-death experience, I think I've mentioned this. I said, be careful what you ask for, because many of these people have gone through traumatic experiences just to get there, and to have that wonderful euphoric experience that they can bring back with them. But many of them are pissed off for a long time because they had to come back. So,
Yeah.
you can read about it, Sylvia's experience in one of her books. So that's anyway.
She didn't sound too happy.
So be careful what you ask for. And there are other ways to experience that. Yes, you can ask, meditate, dreams, bug your guide to say, take me over there and help me experience that without having to go through something traumatic like that. Those people probably needed something like that in order to shift their the physical overlay for that soul. On the other side, we don't get this kind of stuckness. It's when we're here in life and we've got our overlays that we've garnered and put back on, that shroud or whatever we put back on ourselves when we come into life. Maybe that's what it took for that particular person to shed that or strip that off or break it or crack it or however you want to think of it.
Yeah, I needed something drastic to get me out of the extraordinarily stubborn, like agnostic place that I was in at the time. Because I had vowed, I was like, I'm never talking about God ever again. And I know now, like, I'm a mystical traveler, and to have those two, like, something drastic had to happen to get me out of that really, really bad and unhelpful place. Because if the whole point is to be able to help other people, and I have taken a vow of silence, especially around the topic of spirituality, that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Something drastic had to happen. So it was a very painful time. But, it's interesting discussion.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're supposed to... Yeah, I'll agree to that.
Alrighty.
Meditation. Cool. So for those of you that want to participate in a meditation, now it's time to find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful healing grace. Or whatever position that happens to be comfortable for you. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing and don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand and enjoy them at an appropriate time. For the rest of us, I think, if I can remember where I got to push buttons here, we have a wonderful meditation. Enjoy. Find a nice place to sit upright, with your feet flat on the floor and your hands palm upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and body. When you are ready, you can close your eyes.
Sail with your spirit guide. Let the white light of the Holy Spirit surround you, and envision a gold light around that. All of a sudden, you are on a large ship. You are not afraid. You see the sky and feel the ship coursing through the water, which is filled with jumping dolphins. There is something about the sky and water that brings about serenity. It's nature at its fullest. You move to a different part of the ship because you want to be alone with your thoughts and feelings. Simply feeling the air against your face, you sit on a bench looking up at the sky, and you notice a slight chill, so you pull a blanket close to you. You feel purified by the gold of the sunset, the blue of the water, the white of the clouds. The salty sea air makes your mind quiet and tranquil, taking away the hubbub of everyday life. Suddenly, someone approaches and sits next to you. You feel so peaceful that the intrusion is almost irritating. You're internalizing the beauty of the sky and the water, pulling it all into you. And then you become aware of this presence in the chair next to you. A hand reaches out and touches yours, and you immediately, reflexively grab it. You look into the face of your spirit guide, your messenger, companion. What my spirit guide Francine calls a nudging spirit, who come up so unobtrusively, so calmly from God. Now you feel the warmth of your spirit guide's hand and long with inexpressible force to stay. But you are called back to the main deck of life, the reality of living, although you know full well that someday when you cross over, you will be able to sail on this very ship just as easily as you'll be able to fly. Keep this image in your mind with the brilliant blue sky, fluffy white clouds, the dolphins jumping in the aquamarine waves, and the chair that is yours, your niche.
And now, on the count of 3, bring yourself all the way up. 1, 2, 3. Well, that one brought tears.
Oh, so sweet. Every time I see my spirit guide in a dream or otherwise, meditation, she is always dressed different, and she is she's a very Persian look, black hair, this beautiful aquiline face, kind of Mediterranean skin or Middle Eastern skin. I don't know exactly what ethnicity she is, but she's always dressed different, and she wears the most stunning clothes. She's so beautiful. She's like this fashionista that is just like girlfriend.
Well,
Girlfriend.
does it seem like it's...
Give me your skills, because I have none.
Oh, okay, I get you, okay.
So funny.
You're envious of all the... I wasn't sure if you
I
were...
am.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if you were going to say she's flaunting, flaunting this, or you're admiring the envious.
She just has incredible fashion sense, just impeccable. I'm like,
Yeah.
the art, like whatever. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe she's a fashion designer herself as a hobby over there. I don't know. It just makes me mad. She's so pretty. So pretty. It's great. I tease. I love her. She's wonderful.
Yeah. Cool. What the heck? We did that. So, okay. Typically, I like to talk about, if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. We appreciate the listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, subscribing, setting the bell so you know when we show up or when we don't. We don't have the support yet on YouTube to be able to notify you one way or the other. So that's where we're at with that. But thank you, Kat, for posting last week that we weren't able to jump on Facebook. So, but do check out our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, chrisrightnow.com. Facebook, yes, we do have Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio Show. Actually, that one's going to disappear soon because there is one for the show, but since we're hanging out here on Society of Novus Spiritus, that one will disappear eventually, which some of you are actually listening on at this time. So anyway, forewarning. And of course, there are several Novus Spiritus study groups that have groups that you can participate in. Of course, on YouTube, we have Society of Novus Spiritus, and check out Chris's YouTube, Psychic Awareness. He's been doing lots of Q&As lately, so those are always fun to participate in and listen in on. Well, kind of like Francine was saying, watching the life of having a watch party for what's going on. So, but there's fun life lessons there. If you want to donate and get something in return, start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy, and you'll get a monthly Sunday service CD as well as a newsletter. If you want to get something and donate, you can get on Amazon Smile and tell them you want your donations to go to Society of Novus Spiritus. Church services. Man, I'm due for another one coming up here. Time flies, as we've told. And of course, there's a watch for the Sunday service on Facebook and YouTube. The postings are there. And then Reverend Ellen Schloss also has special Zoom services. If you put your email on the website, you'll get a notice when and be invited, something like that. You'll be invited how to participate in those Zoom service when they are available. Now it's time for the Novena. For those of you that are new, this is a special prayer ceremony. And what we will do is we're going to say this phrase together 3 times. And the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now we're going to say that 3 times together, and I'll lead you through it, and then I'll let you know afterwards, after each group of those, what we are going to ask for. So visualize all of us, we're in the same space, and we're all holding hands, and we're making this huge circle, because we're going to share energy with each other. Doesn't matter when or where. Just visualize all of us together in the same vicinity or room or space, and we're sharing that synergistic energy to get out and help others. So here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for yourself. Okay. Next one. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for others. Okay. And the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge, and that we get to share with them. Let's see. Wow. Talk about appreciation. Show your appreciation to Francine and Raheim for researching all of this wonderful knowledge. How? Using it. Yes, you can also ask them to help you out, give you some infusion, or tell your guide how to guide you in the direction. And of course, appreciate Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. Of course, Asna for helping us and protecting us while we're here, and Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Of course, I appreciate Bob for helping with the audio, some of the recordings, getting those prepped. Sammy and Javon for the wonderful intro-outro music. For the show, writing, setup, hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now, a prayer by Sylvia. Somewhere in here, we've got, I keep them stored in a safe place. Really? Is that right? That's right.
This is a summer solstice prayer of mourning. Dearest Mother Asna, Queen of the Universe, please magnify our knowledge and faith. We love you and adore you, Queen Asna. We pay homage and gratitude to you this day. Thank you, Asna, for your omnipotent presence. We are thankful for your love and protection, dearest Mother. Keep us safe. We feel your love, and we in turn also offer our hearts and souls to you. Dearest Mother, protect us and our children. Dearest Mother, please also include us in your mantle of protection because we are all your children. Mother, give us the courage to spread your holy name. The courage, dear Asna, Queen of the Universe, to make this world turn white in your name. Thank you, Asna. Your love has bound us together. Blessed be thy holy name. Amen.
Oh, that's what man, it's been too long here. Like, something's missing. What is it? I just couldn't get a finger on it. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. It seems like it's been a month since we were here, and that's how anyway, must have been a good vacation or something. Anyway, here we go. And Kat's going to tell us.
Very much. Good night. We'll see you next week. Many blessings.
For so long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me